Hello, welcome to another podcast. We have singer-songwriter Beth Holli, and to give you a little bit of a taste of who she is, at the age of 4, her dad was a music producer and put headphones on her head and said, "Sing what you hear." So she did, and that started her singing career. At first, she started by singing on a local TV program called The Country Boy Eddie Show. This is where, that's where Tammy Wynette was. And Wendy Holcomb, just to name a few, got their start. And then Beth had a chance to audition for Opryland Theme Park, but I'm not going to tell you what happened there. So we'll let her say that. Okay, Beth. Hello. How are you? Welcome to the On
Hi,
Stage
how are you,
podcast. I'm so
Chris?
happy that you're on our platform today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
You're welcome.
Everything going well?
Everything's going well, and we have, believe it or not, middle of December, like in Toronto, Canada, we have 10-degree weather. So warm right now. I know. I know. It's like we
Whoa,
have
10
summer weather in
degrees?
December.
10 degrees?
10 degrees, right? 10 degrees.
It's 62 here and I'm freezing.
Well, no, 10 degrees, but eventually it'll go back down to -1, -2 because we haven't had our snow yet. We had a little bit here and there, but not too much. So our winters here
Now I'm
kind of,
jealous about the snow.
yeah,
I am jealous about the snow. I do like the snow.
yeah. But Beth,
But our snow, we go down to the beach and we got the white sand.
oh
That's
yeah.
our, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's really a pleasure to meet you. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of who Beth Holli is when you grew up, and what made you choose to not only become a nurse but also say, "Hey, I want to get into music too."
I did the music thing up until I decided to stop and get married, have children, because it's really not conducive for me. It was not to be on the road. There are several people that raise their children on the road, but I wanted to just have a normal life because I had basically done a lot and as a young person, and so when I got divorced, I had the two small children, and I thought, I'll just go into nursing. So I became a nurse, and I remarried in 20, 2003.
Hmm.
So we've been together 20 years, and I woke up in 2019 and said, "Honey, I'm going back into show business." And he said, "Oh, hot damn." I came home from work, and there was a full blown studio up there in the spare bedroom. And I have a very loving, supportive husband. And he even took classes online to be able to learn to do the board enough that we could at least get some demos down. So we started doing that, and then we got hooked up with Randy Kors and some other just incredible musicians and engineers, singers, songwriters, and it has just snowballed since 2019.
That is
And
amazing,
I've
Beth. Wow, what a story.
been very blessed. Right now, I'm still nursing. When I'm not doing my music, I am nursing though. I do enjoy my job as a nurse, but I'm also 61 years old and I'm ready to go and do what I love, which was always performing.
Yeah.
So I decided I would do that while I can, before I have to have another hip replaced.
Well, wow. Can you give us an idea? It says your father was a music producer. Was he well known in the industry?
He was more like a local guy who just had a lot of contacts. So that's how it mostly played out for that. He just knew who to talk to about getting what done. And but my dad, what's funny is my dad was not a singer. And in 1957, he wrote, well, he didn't write a song, he recorded a song, and they had just, I think, 50 of them printed up. They went, there's this guy over in the Netherlands that bought it on eBay one single record for $500.
Mm.
I was like, you got to be kidding me with this. And he goes, I know, I can't sing, but I try. you know? So my dad was more of a songwriter, and most of the productions that he did was mine.
So when you put those headphones on your head and said, sing what you hear, what was the music you were hearing?
Well, it was 1966, so the war was on, and he had written a song called "The Red Honor of the Red, White, and Blue," and it was about I'm a soldier boy and I'm a long, long way from home. I'm overseas for Uncle Sam fighting the Viet Cong. Well, back then that was the war that was on. So it was just the song that he had made, and I would sing it when I would hear him out there, getting it together and all. And that was one of the ones that I learned, and I never forgot it. It was about the holidays and being overseas and being away from your family, and my dad was always very talented as far as and touching as far as writing songs. He wrote my first song, which was called "Only Time," that I recorded in 1976, I believe it was.
Mm.
And it was about a little girl going to her daddy because she got her heart broken. and so that one's very special to me. I have that one framed up on my studio wall.
That's very interesting. So you
Yeah.
started your singing career on a local TV program called The Country Boy Eddie Show. I never heard of that one.
Oh, well, it was here locally in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And yes, it was, I mean, it was pretty good for its time. And I think it went out to a couple of southern states, but I don't think that it was, like syndicated nationally or anything like that. But Tammy Wynette started, she got her break from there. And Wendy Holcomb was the little girl that played the banjo on the Porter Wagner show. Remember the little blonde with the little flippy ponytails?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that was Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Wendy. And so she got her start there also. And my dad had me on there singing it when I was very young. And I did it for many, many years off and on throughout the time.
How did
But
the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but it was a very much of a joy to be able to work with some of the local musicians, and especially Country Boy Eddie himself. He was such a lively person, so lively.
And then you had a chance to audition for the Opryland theme park. You want to tell the audience what happened and why?
Opryland. I lied about my age. I got
Oh,
fired because I was 2 years too young. So,
oh no.
hey, when you have a choice between when your parent says, okay, you can either get a job like your friends do and wear one of those little, goofy uniforms, or you can go do something you want to do. I took my dad's credit card and I went and made a newspaper ad for band members.
Oh, wow.
And then I put a band together, and I went to high school with a girl whose dad owned a bar. And he said, "Yeah, we don't mind you coming in if you come in the back door and go out the back door. But you can't sit out there at your age while you're singing. If you're not singing, you have to be in the kitchen." So that's what I did, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I try not to give my age too much. I just try to say 40 and then count how many months. So it'll be like 40 and 120 months or something. I
Okay, I got one for you. I am celebrating the 32nd anniversary of my 29th year.
we'll see. Everyone, that's a Jack Benny thing. Love Jack Benny. It was great.
I'm 61 years old this past August. So, and absolutely thrilled and love the fact that I managed to get this age.
I know what you're talking about. Someone told me that you never know what could happen tomorrow. You just don't know if you're going to live another day. You just got to take one moment at a time. Like, just um, live for today. Like, who cares what you're doing 5 minutes from now? Who cares what you're doing an hour from now? What's happening now, and deal with it, you know?
Right.
But
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the biggest thing I can tell you is I'm going to continue to live out of spite. I got too many things to do and too many things I want to accomplish. I'm going to survive out of spite. It's just the way. I'm
I,
going to be successful just because I can.
I like
You
that.
know, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to do it. You
I
know,
like
but
that.
I will be. I mean, you know, if you don't strive for yourself, nobody else is going to strive for you. And you've got to have your own. To be honest with you, this is the way I honestly feel about things. Yeah, I get a little sassy sometimes there and there, but the honest, deep down truth, the way I feel is, if you want to succeed at something, you put your heart into it. Whether you're successful at it, as far as what other people's levels are successful, as long as you try, you became successful. If you don't ever try, you're not, and you don't know until you try. I mean, there's been plenty of things that I've thought about maybe doing throughout my lifetime, and I thought, well, yeah, it's kind of scary. Mm-mm. No, I just said, heck with it. I'm going to give it a try. If it don't work, I'll try something else. But
You were
that's all.
mentioning something about scary. Isn't it scary to be a nurse in a jail system? Have you ever had anybody try to grab a needle and try to stab you with it? Mind me asking?
No, I haven't. I've had some try to intimidate me. I've
Oh,
had some that beat on the wall, look me in the through the glass, and just scream and cuss and fuss, and I just
mm,
sit there like this. And when they get through, I do it back to them, which shocks them, and they get one of these.
mm.
You know, you have to just handle them before they handle you. Is all it is. Um, it's to the point where you don't let them intimidate you. And let's be perfectly honest. The Most of the people that are in here because they were they were either good people that made bad choices or bad things happened to them. Because I primarily think people are good, and the majority of the men that I deal with and are of violent nature in their accused crime, I'm in a jail, so they haven't been convicted yet. And the way that they are, they're very respectful to me, and I'm very respectful back. I take care of them in that manner, and they're kind and respectful in that manner. I'm always have a guard with me,
Hmm.
but they're not the same people when they're in here as they were when they first came in. They've detoxed. They're off of the alcohol. They're off of the booze. They're off, the drugs. I mean, they're off of a lot of things that influence the decision that made them become, in house and incarcerated here. So, no, I've never had any of them try to hurt me. Mm-mm. I do parent them a lot now.
Mm.
They say something to me, don't get me wrong. Some of them do get a little sarcastic, little, testy and all, and I just right back with them. You gotta, but most of them, they have a good sense of humor. I try to, when I'm passing out pills, I try to either sing or, we'll tell jokes, anything to lift their spirits, because it's very depressing for them in here.
And
And I just, you get what you give in life. And if you're going to be the one that gives these guys a hard time because they made mistakes, it's going to come back. So I try to make sure when I'm giving them, hey, good morning, how are you? Do you have a good night's sleep? Are you doing okay? Is there anything you need besides? Or just I try to make it as personable as far as a nurse goes without getting personal. You still keep that distance, and it's for your own safety.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that's definitely scary, but it's also enjoyable when you get a chance to sing in front of them as well.
Oh yeah, because it's got great acoustics in here.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's all you
Acoustics.
need. That's good acoustics.
Acoustics are the thing.
Oh yeah, that's it. You can get some good reverb going,
Oh yeah.
bouncing off the walls. And what's funny is the song that I have called "Bail Money." It was written, yeah, it was
Wow.
written by Carlos and Stephen Beatty, and I had met Stephen, and he said, "I've got a song for you since you told me what you do." So he brought that one out to me, and him and his brother Carlos and Marty Dodson all wrote this song. I mean, it's out. It's on the platforms, on the streaming platforms, and it's a very good song. It's about two women fighting in a bar over a man, which that's so rare. It doesn't ever happen. But we had so many just class A musicians on that song and vocalists.
Hmm.
We had I have Brendan Fitzpatrick, who is used to be known as Magic Red in the Voodoo Tribe. He was down, used to travel with Florida to the Florabamas, which is where I met him. He came up with the arrangement that we did, and he brought in Anton Fig, who was the drummer for David Letterman in
Oh
the Paul
wow.
Schaefer band. He brought in Stu Ham, who was a world-renowned bassist, and then they brought in Lucas Woke for a banjo. Jeff Kalimba did the mixing and mastering, and this is a worldwide effort for this one song.
Wow.
Randy Kors is the Grammy-winning sound engineer that I used at Slack Key Studio. Josh Shillings is the organ and piano player on that, and then you have Vicky Carrico who did the background voices, and I came in and did the lead vocals. But the thing about that was Anton was in South Africa, Stu was in Las Vegas, Vicky, Randy and Josh were in Nashville. Brendan, Lucas, Jeff, they were all up in New Jersey, and I was in Birmingham, Alabama when that song all came together. So
Wow. That's nice.
that was during COVID.
Oh
We
my
did that
goodness.
song during COVID. Yeah.
That is cool.
And it was, but the funny thing is, I've got these inmates here that they've heard it a couple of times. The deputies have heard it, and I'll go through here singing "Bail Money," and they've caught on to it. So that's what they call me. They either call me Nurse Mama or Nurse Bail Money. So there we go.
Wow. I love how you said that the world renowned bassist from the David Letterman show was part of it. We had Reggie
No, that
Rosenberg.
was the drummer.
Oh, the
That was the
drummer, right?
drummer.
Yeah, we
Anton Fig was the drummer.
Anton Fig. Okay, so
Yeah.
we had Reggie Labamba Rosenberg, who was a member of Easy Street Band from Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Springsteen's band,
Bruce Springsteen.
and from the Conan O'Brien show. He was in there, and he was
Mm-hmm.
in John Bon Jovi's band. So we had him on the show.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah. Um, it was kind of funny though because somebody just said, "Hey, I know Rosie Rosenberg. Would you like to have him on the podcast?" I said, "Yeah." Can I get Conan O'Brien too? you know,
Yeah, really.
you
Let me
know,
see what else.
I'm also kind of interested in, like you said, that you were taken under Dottie West's wing, like Dottie
Yeah,
West, the Dottie West, the country
West.
singer
Yeah.
Dottie West. Wow, can you share with us that experience?
Dottie was one of the most friendliest individuals you would ever meet. It didn't matter if she was going on stage, if somebody stopped her to say hello or how pretty your costume is, girl, she's going to stand right there and tell you how thankful she is that this person made this costume, who made it, where she got the material. You want to just go call her and get her to make you one. Like, oh, that was the most friendliest woman. So I thoroughly felt blessed because she came to me, and I learned so much from her about how to, first of all, how to be humble when you're on the road,
Mm.
because you're nothing without the ones that are sitting in that audience making you feel something. You have to understand that when you are performing and it makes you feel good, for me myself, if I can make that person sitting in the very back of the audience put a smile on their face, no matter how close they seem or how far they are, if I can lock eyes back there to the backstage, to the back of the arena or whatever we're playing at, and see them smile, then I've done my job.
Wow.
Now I may look like a nutcase up there jumping around, like like my pants are on fire or something. But if it makes these people back here smile and they get their groove on going and having a good time, it's worth it to me. It's worth it. You know,
It's amazing.
my mother told me, she said, the best thing you can do in life is to make others happy and smile by giving them yours. So I've always thought when I walk past somebody, I always lock eyes with them. Even if you walk past somebody that's looking down, if you will speak to them, they will look up at you. You lock eyes with them and give them a smile, it'll make their whole day. Because it's amazing how many people in this world feel so introverted and misplaced because of something that's going on inside that nobody else knows about. But you don't have to know about it. You just give them your smile and it gives them a good day. Everybody's happy.
And I suppose you had a chance to sing with Dottie as well.
Yeah, I did. I did.
How did that
Yeah.
make you
Dottie told me,
feel?
she goes, "You want to know how does it feel?" It was very intimidating in the beginning because when I met her, it was she was at the Opryland theme park, and that's how I met her. And then when I told her, they found out I was too young to be here. I got to go, and she says, "Well, you want to know about the road? Let's go show you about the road."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's go." Now I'm 14, 15 years old. At this day and age, there is my children are 26 and 31. There is no way I would have let them go. But, my parents trusted me, my judgment, trusted my abilities to have a good head on my shoulder. And most importantly, they trusted Miss Dottie.
It's
So that
amazing.
I got to learn what it was like being on the road, especially with somebody that was just as down to earth, humble, and didn't have a pretentious bone in her body. I mean, she was just. I miss her so much. I really do.
I know. I remember when she died. I actually read her obituary, and I was like, "Oh, that's so sad. She was so young." And oh,
Hmm.
did you establish some sort of relationship with her, or even over the years, still got in communication with her? And
Yes, off and on. Whenever I would, find my way up to Nashville, and she would be there, or she would be singing at the Opry or something.
wow,
Yeah, I'd always did. But Vicky Carico, the one that did the background vocals for Bail Money, she first of all, she did a six-part harmony on that song that would blow anybody away. But she sang with Dottie for many, 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 many years. I got a taste of what it was like, but Vicky was on the road with her for a long time. And now I think she's with Brenda Lee now. But she's just an incredible vocalist too. But being what Dottie showed me was that life is what you make it. If you want to be happy, do what you love.
Yes, exactly. That's what I tell everyone. Do what you love, and but I still like the fact when I said, place it in the quotes here. Um, Live one day at a time. Don't worry about what's happening an hour from now. Just live in the moment.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're going to miss out more than you can imagine.
Yeah.
And taking a risk. I mean, you don't think that it was a risk for me to up at what 59 years old and decide I think I'm just going to go back into the show business and do this. It was a big risk, especially when my husband said, "Well, he had heard me." I mean, my husband had been encouraging me to go to karaoke bars with friends and all that, but I didn't. I didn't really think about because I thought at one point my singing time was over with because I had had a reaction to some blood pressure medicine and I couldn't
Mm.
breathe, but we didn't know why I couldn't breathe. And I remember sitting in the bed and saying, "I think my singing days are over with." And my husband said, "No, no, 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 no. We're not going to let that happen. No, no, no. You're going to fight this." And we found out it was something as simple as I was allergic to medicine that was sulfa based. So I had an allergy to sulfa. And we found that out, cut that meds out, and poof, it was on again. So,
Wow.
you kind of get to something like that simple happening to you, and you just get a newfound love of life. And I'm willing to try anything I can once, maybe twice if I enjoy it. But it is definitely something that anything you want in life or that you enjoy in life is worth trying. And like I said, you don't fail unless you don't try. And you don't have to be successful at everything you try, but at least give it a try.
That is amazing. Quite inspirational words. Who were the other country music's biggest legends?
Willie Nelson,
Willie
Barbara
Nelson?
Mandrell, Willie Nelson, Barbara Mandrell. I know Barbara Hay used to have a um, charity event that she used to have in Alabama,
Hmm.
and her husband and I were doubles partners on the tennis part of it. And this was right after she had had that wreck. She was pregnant at the time. After she got pregnant after that wreck, and got to know her a lot better, and then became friends with her, Arlene, and Louise, and got to know them and enjoyed learning a lot from them as well. And Randy Coors, my sound engineer, actually was very close to Dolly Parton. He worked with, or we used to work with her a lot. Yeah. So, the connections are there, and, that 6 degrees of separation thing that everybody talks about. Sometimes it's not even 6 degrees. Sometimes it's just two or three. Sometimes it's not even but one. And it's, amazing how, like, okay, this past Tuesday, we were at the Christmas party for Slack Key Studio. The musicians there were so incredible. Some of these people I had met in the past Christmas party, some of them I were newly met. But the thing about it is, there was not, out of all the people that were there, top notch musicians, ones that traveled with the bigger acts, the smaller acts, some that were just starting out, some that were, well, there was one guy there that had written 15 number one hits.
Huh.
There was another guy that had wrote a hit for Linda Ronstadt and George Jones.
Linda
There was
Ronstadt, my
several,
favorite. Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. You could get one musician that started playing his song, and then you would get all these other people just picking up an instrument. So you had the stand-up bass, the lead guitars, the rhythm guitars, the mandolins, harmonicas, those little shaky things, and dobros. Oh my god, banjos, everything you can think of. There was somebody playing some instrument, and those that were not, that were singers, they were all harmonizing and singing. If they didn't know the words, they were harmonizing, with the little background voice. There wasn't an ego in the room. You had about 200 people there, and you didn't have not one ego in the room. Everybody was supportive of everybody else. Everybody wanted everybody else to come on in here and sing with us. Come on in here and play. You didn't, and that's the best part about country music is you don't have all of that pretentiousness in a lot of people. Everybody is so welcoming and wants you to do good. And that I believe is one of the biggest lessons that I learned from Dottie was you enjoy everybody and everybody will enjoy you.
Wow.
And that's, it's, but it's very mind blowing to see people of that caliber that just so relaxed and just enjoying each other's company. Nobody trying to outdo anybody. It was the most relaxing, get together you could ever imagine. And I felt very blessed to be invited for the past 2 years to Randy Core's party. And I have learned a lot and met a lot of nice, wonderful people.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, I'm going up there this afternoon when I get off work. I'm going up there to meet with a friend of mine that we're going to work on another song that we're writing because we just finished one about this time last year, and we've got a couple more in the works that we're going to finish.
That is awesome, Beth. When you mentioned banjo, the name Steve Martin comes to mind. He's quite a prolific
Yeah.
banjo player.
Hmm.
Amazing.
And there's a lot of talented people that do things that you wouldn't, you just know this person is an actor, this person is a singer, but there is multiple talented people that do multiple things in their life that you really wouldn't know. I didn't for a long time until I saw a couple of movies of Steve Martin. I didn't know he played the banjo.
Hmm.
And but then you find out, okay, that's not an act. He's actually really playing it. So it is interesting to realize that how talented some people really, really are at what they can do. Because, like I said, there was some people there Tuesday night that would go from playing the guitar to playing the banjo to playing a mandolin to playing a dobro, and it's the same guy. He's just swapping out instruments. And people were handing instruments to each other that here you play this and I got to get me a drink in the kitchen. Okay, well, so and that's another thing too. Nobody worried about what somebody else was gonna touch, find out, or learn. It was just it's a great group of people to be involved with.
Yeah, I can name several celebrities who are musicians: Kevin Costner, Keanu Reeves, Nicole
I
Kidman.
didn't know that one.
Nicole Kidman's a singer. Jennifer Gardner. They're all singers, and they all have some sort of classic um, talent for music. You just don't know because they're acting, and they may like Nicole Kidman. We all know is a singer, and so you just never know. Um, but I like how back in 2019 February, where you suddenly woke up and you look at your husband and said, "I am going back into show business," and he replied, "Hot damn!" And then when you got home from work, he purchased everything that's needed for home studio. And I'm like, how do you know what you bought is for a home studio? You might have bought some crap, which I'm not going to use.
Yeah, especially since he'd never been in the business before or been around it. He said, I said, where did you, how did you know what to get? He goes, well, I went to the music store and I said, this is what my wife does and this is what she wants to do and this is what I need to buy. Well, so tell me. So
That's
I
awesome. Yeah.
he said, and I mean, I tried to take guitar lessons. This is what it's not. Now, I will be honest with you about this. I cannot read a note of music. I cannot play an instrument. I have tried the piano, the flute, the guitar, the drums. I've played I mean, I can play the radio good and, hold a microphone, but that is the only thing. I mean, my husband even bought me a Maxi Stratocaster.
Really?
I tried to teach.
Stratocaster?
Yes,
No way.
yeah, he got me that for
Wow.
Christmas a couple of years ago because I wanted to take guitar lessons. Well, let me rephrase that. He wanted me to
Wow.
take guitar lessons. So he went and got me one, and I played for about 6 months. I took them lessons, but then work kind of, got in
Mm.
the way, and then COVID got in the way, and so I just had to. I've got to pick it back up again. But I did get the base of the what I need to know to be able to continue practicing, and I do. I pick it up every now and then and just pluck and play if I'm trying to write a melody or something. But I mean, I have a good husband. We didn't we met in I'm sorry, we met in 2003. We got married in 2016. So we were both raising children. We were both single parents. We both had full custody. So we waited till the children were up and gone before.
Well, I'm always sharing this story. So, talking about guitar, my friend Lou and my friend Armando were actually in a band. And anyway, Lou played the guitar. And I wanted to learn the acoustic guitar. So, I handed over some money, said, "But can I buy your guitar? Because I want to learn it." 4 days later, I called him up and said, "Hey, Lou, can I sell the guitar back to you?" But this is the year. I tell people, this is the year. I'm going to learn the bass guitar. I'm going to actually attempt to learn it. Do that. I can pick up a guitar and do the thunderstruck thing, or
Oh yeah, it hurts my fingers. Now I'll tell you the main reason why is my guitar teacher said, "Those nails have got to go." And I said, "Oh no, I'm just now. I couldn't grow them as a kid, and now they're coming on strong. I got to get them cut all the time." And he said they got to go. So I was like, no, but
well,
no, it was hard. It was very difficult playing with it with my nails.
I got to correct you when you said you don't know how to play an instrument. You do. It's called the voice. The vocals
Oh,
is an instrument. The string instrument is your voice. Don't forget that. So you do know an
oh,
instrument.
thank,
You're very welcome.
thank you. I do appreciate that, Chris. That's very sweet.
You're very welcome. So now you started practicing on all this home studio. You started doing this, and then you met this writer called Marty Dodson, and then you got
Hmm.
Stephen and Carlos Batty who wrote your release "Bail Money." Now, can you give me a little bit of idea? Were you able to get along with them? Like, did you have any clash, kind of personality clashes or character with any of them?
No, matter of fact, they had already written the song. I just happened to have uh, had somebody that introduced me and put me and Steven together as I've met this guy. He's a producer and a songwriter. Y'all might want to get together and talk. Me and my husband drove up to Nashville, met him for dinner. He gave us two songs. We liked Bail Money, and another one that he gave us we haven't recorded yet. But we just fell in love with Bail Money because at that time I was doing corrections too, and we thought it was kind of a play on words and a fun song to have. So that's what we did. But no, they were Marty. I've talked to a couple of times. Stephen, I've and Carlos. I've talked to several times since this. They both, they all three were very happy with the product, and because it's not like I didn't use their arrangement. I used their we played off of what they initially had, but we had to put it in my key. We had to lower it down because the original demo was in higher notes. So we just had to drop it down a little bit.
That's interesting.
And it,
What about your song creation process? How do you start that?
well, When I Dream is a song that was done in 2002. My fiance died 2 months before our wedding. He
Mm.
was a physician in New York, and he had a aneurysm and he passed away.
I'm so sorry to
But
hear that. But you won an
it
XMA
was
award-winning Best Country Song Award in 2021. So wow.
with that song, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry that
Yeah,
happened.
and it was well, every oh, I appreciate that, but every ounce of pain that you get in life spurts energy to accomplish something else. Without this happening, I would not have met my current husband.
Hmm.
And trust me, they were a lot alike. They are both they were it was really like meeting the same person because they're both very loving, caring, and supportive men. And I was very thankful. I really feel like in my life that Matthew put Kurt in my life. So, but when I dreamed, because I couldn't do nothing but sleep. It's all I did. Couldn't I didn't I had two small children I had to get up and live for, but it was difficult. Then when I got out and started dating, okay, crazy love comes along. And then when I met Kurt, it was, please don't touch me there. I don't want to get, you know,
Mm.
hurt. So, and then with, just recently, Megan and I have, Megan Droke is her name, and she was, a songwriter in Nashville that we write together. So we were sitting around on the front porch talking about the inmates. Well, the thing about the inmates is, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm gonna, have my way with you. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, all right, you do that now, and I'm gonna be holding over here with my G44. And when you want to have your way, and I'm gonna blow your way. So we it's just a play on words. But you take a story or an incident or situation that you may could be serious, may could be funny, and then you just kind of sit around and talk it up. And Megan is an incredible, incredible songwriter.
Wow.
I mean, I was joking about what I would say to him, and she goes, "There's our song, honey. There's our song." So she took off and she put some words down, some lyrics down, and I mean, it turned out to great. So we're just working on that, getting the melody and stuff for it, so we can get that one recorded. It'll be like a sister song to Bail Money.
So I've spoken to many musicians about what they think of sad songs and whether a musician who writes a sad song that has to do with a sad experience, when somebody who didn't experience what they went through, do you think it has the same effect? For instance, when you hear someone's sad song, it's about maybe a dead wife or child, whatever. What kind of effect does it give on you emotionally when you know it's not about you?
If I sing something that's got a emotional, like a really deep emotion to it, I have to feel that emotion, or I don't feel like I did the song justice. But if I hear somebody else's pain, like with uh, "Tears in Heaven" by Eric Clapton,
Hmm.
as a mother, you can feel that. You can feel his pain, and it makes it more a touching song. And that's what really grabs people is when you can absolutely dig deep into your emotions and share your honesty with how you're feeling at that moment when you sing those lyrics. That's what grabs your audience, is because the honesty part of it. You know,
So how do you deal with your mental health?
Usually I just sit down and write out words, lyrics, or you can call it lyrics, stories. That's usually a big outlet. But as far as I just try to stay positive. I don't dwell on the negative in life. I can't. I just it's not really worth it, to be honest with you, because when you put that negative energy out there, that's what you're going to get in return.
Mm.
So if you are happy and you exude happiness, other people are going to be happy, and it just snowballs from there. But if I walk into a room and I'm in a foul mood, everybody in the room's going to be in a foul mood. Just like, they say, mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. If I'm happy, I want everybody to be happy. And it doesn't matter whether it is something that makes me look silly to some people or not. If if I can make you smile, then I've done my job.
That's true.
So, I mean, I felt like God gave me a good life, and I'm happy that I have it. I'm happy that I am 61 years old and I have made it this far.
Wow.
And I will tell you this too, another godsend I have been sent, and that is my promoter, Caden Gordon.
Mm.
Caden, you know Caden,
Yep.
yeah. That young man is the most incredible, hardworking young man. I've had promoters in my past. I've never had one work like he has. He is on it like no tomorrow. I mean, the kid went, he had, with radio stations when he was in high school. He was running his own business then. Now he's going to college. Another thing is if I am becoming successful at what I'm
You
doing,
will.
because sir.
You will.
Oh, well, thank you, Chris. But I will tell you, I met two, three people at the party that I had met prior to this time. Met them last year. They were absolutely such talented individuals. Those, and first thing I did was give them Caden's information because I know he can help them get to where they want to get also.
Well, here's the thing.
And
So this is how I met Caden. So I'm a big Darman fan, and I interviewed three actors and actresses from Darman. I don't know if you're familiar with Darman series. Anyway, one of them was Caden Tokarski. She's a 13-year-old actress, award-winning actress. So I had her on my podcast. We spoke for 90 minutes. Excellent. It's like 1,500 views. Beautiful, wonderful, wonderful girl. And what happened is that a couple months ago, Caden Gordon sent me an email saying, "Hi, this is Caden Gordon. I noticed that you had Caden Tokarski on your podcast. Do you mind? Can I be on your podcast too?" And my artists. And I'm like, "Excuse me?" So I booked him, and he said, "Okay, thank you for booking me. Now I'm going to let all of my artists know about you." And I'm like, "What?" And I just got email after email. People want to be,
yeah,
and because of him, I was so thankful. And I'm going to let you know too. You do realize how old he is, right?
19 or 20?
18, 19, yeah.
Yeah.
And he
That's
is
fun.
he's a hard worker, and it's
Well,
funny.
he just kind of called me the other day and said, I got in touch with the Kelly Clarkson show, and they're interested after the first of the year of getting in touch and having some of y'all on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let me tell you that young man. I even drove up to Nashville when he came down for a meeting. I can't remember the event, but he came down for a meeting, and I took my best friend, one of them, and we drove up just to meet him in person. I had already hired him. He had already done major work for me,
Yeah,
but I wanted to meet this kid, this super kid in person, and he did not disappoint.
it's funny. I get inspired by people 30, 40 years younger than me because
Hmm.
I was once their age, but I used to sing on my living room floor with my brother. He used to sing the soundtrack from the Jesus Christ Superstar with Ted Neely. I used to, and we would do the whole acting and everything. But I never in my mind said, maybe I'll get into music. Never occurred to me. I'm a good singer. Everyone loves my singing. I'm just playing around like a little 7-year-old, 8-year-old boy. And here I wanted to be either an astronaut, a doctor in a spaceship. I wanted to be a secret spy, but never did I say, "Mom, I want to be a musician. I want to go to school." I've seen 7 and 8-year-old opera singers, for heaven's sake. See, that's why I'm doing this, because I not only want to help you and others, but that's why I work with Caden, I work with others, and I get all these artists, and I'm so busy now. I'll tell you when I'll be busy till the end of June. So I'm really happy about
Wow.
that. So you're right. He is
Well,
a very hard worker.
there was a 9-year old kid at the party that played the guitar like a 80-year-old man. I mean, he could hit the licks on that thing. I was sitting there looking at him. I was watching him play, and I finally, when he got through playing, I walked over to him and I said, "I'm gonna tell you, you did an incredible job. You play like you've been doing it for 30 years." And he said, "I'm not even 9 yet."
If you think Anton Fig can play drums, let me tell you one thing.
Oh,
Have you ever heard of Michael M. Drummer? He's 8 years old. Michael
yes,
M.
I
Drummer.
saw him on YouTube.
Yes, he's 8 years old. And you want to know a very, very young bassist? You're going to get a kick out of
Hmm.
this, but she's really good. She started at 9, but she's 11 years old. Her name is Ellen Aldeverin. Both her and her father, really good bassist player. She's just 11-year-old girl and she's playing basses like she was, David Bowie or something. Excellent. So you're never too young to start. Like, seriously.
No, because and the funny thing is, my husband will. When I get off work, I have to. I go home and to unwind. I go take my shower. I climb into bed with my computer. I start sending out all my emails that I'm supposed to send out. That Caden has given me strict instructions on. And so, but I go in there and I sit there with the dog, and I can hear my husband in the living room. He is searching through all this YouTube things, and then he'll say, "Hey, come out here and watch this kid play. Hey, come out here and listen to this kid sing."
Yeah, it's
Hey, I mean, he will
incredible.
watch The Voice from around the world, and because he wants to get song ideas
Hmm.
for us to cut and different. And he's such a supporter. He loves lover of music. He really is. And my poor husband, he tells me, he goes, as much as I love music and love watching you sing and watching you perform and stuff, there's no way I could ever do it. I said, "No, don't. That's not true. You got up one time when you were intoxicated and you sang 'Hang On Sloopy' at an Ohio State party."
Well, I'm going to actually give him a shout out. Caden Gordon Show. Caden Gordon giving you a shout out. Go to him if you want your music to be promoted or you want many
Absolutely.
artists. And then he is directly linked to me. So get them on my podcast. And Mike Wagner's show as well. Mike Wagner is another one.
Yes, I did
Um,
Mike's.
so,
And there's another thing about Caden too is, he is so supportive. He is
mhm.
always on top of things. He does all my social media too. I've listen. That little young man is on my payroll big time. He's building my website.
Oh my
He is so
goodness.
talented. Yeah, he is on it. He is got his act together, and there are so many children or young people that could learn so much from him. I told him, you ought to teach a class. You ought to get online and teach a class
Yeah.
because he does.
I realize
He does.
from other people that I need a website. I need to put my podcasts on other platforms like Spotify. I want to be able to get better and better and better with my interviewing and just, people are going to say, "So, are you on Spotify?" Nope. Oh, because not everyone goes to YouTube, but they do listen to podcasts on Spotify and stuff. So, if I can get mine on there and Apple Music and whatever, then I'm everywhere. But I should have started doing that, but I didn't know it was going to take off like this.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is they'll say, "Oh, people only want to see and talk to the famous." Well, people want to see how the new and the new ones that are coming in or coming out and trying to obtain certain levels. They want to see how they do it because they want to achieve it too. So you will learn, and if you will learn and listen to a lot of these podcasts,
Hmm.
learn and listen to the YouTubes, you'll get that self-confidence enough to do it yourself. And the best advice I can give somebody is, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If you think you look goofy and you make somebody smile, you're on the right track. That's all and that's it.
I think you're right, and
But
my intentions is to get the singer Sting on my podcast. Sting from the
okay.
Police, and that's what I like to get him on my podcast. Why? Well, I like Sting, and I want to. I want to talk to him about a few songs that he wrote, whatever. I want to know the meanings of them. And I also wanted to ask him, like, where did you get the name Sting? How come you're not using Gordon Sumner's, which is his birth name? Whatever. So, but yeah, so that's my main thing. But
I will tell you this:
yeah,
the my husband made a comment the other day. He said, "You know, you have manifested this career back into what it used to be, and you have made it supersede what you ever wanted it to be." And that's the honest truth. You want Sting on your program? You do what I do. You sit there and you write out verbatim what you want to the detail. And you write that out several times. You say those mantras that you know he's going to be on your podcast and he's going to enjoy it and he's going to just blow it up. You have to believe it if you want it to achieve it.
thank you so much.
And that's exactly the way you can do it. Believe in yourself first, and everybody else will believe in you too.
I must tell you that I do have a faith in Jesus Christ. So I am a Christian because you mentioned God there, and I figured that you probably are as well. So God has to
Yes,
come first. God always has to come first
absolutely.
because this is his
You
podcast.
can't achieve that.
He's my manager. He's my PR. So bring him. And I'll tell you one thing. You're going to be kind of finding this amazing. I said to the Lord, can you bring me more Christian artists on my podcast? Boom, Caden got a hold of me, and I'm like, wow. So isn't that a answer to prayer right there?
I have two religious songs my dad wrote that I recorded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just hadn't put them out yet, but Dad wrote two religious songs, one called "Need" and one called "Won't They Be Surprised." And I haven't put them out, but I did record them. What was funny was I was pregnant with my second child,
Hmm.
and my dad wouldn't tell me what he wanted for Christmas, so I found in the basement the old 16 track. That tells you how old it was. 16 track, took it to another studio, had it baked, and then took it to another studio and put my voice on it. And when I did, it was Christmas time. Everybody was sitting around in the living room. I turned on the stereo and it started playing. And my dad goes, sitting there patting his foot, and he goes, "That sounds familiar." I said, "Give it a minute." Next thing I know, the words are coming out. He goes, "That's my song. Who's singing my song?" I said, "Your daughter's singing your song. Have Merry Christmas." And he was like, "Oh my God." Because it
Wow,
had been a long time since he'd even heard me sing. And that was, it was one of his religious songs. And so
that's amazing.
I
Oh
hold it dear to my heart.
yes, I forgot to ask you. That's right. So um, I've been watching Brenda Lee sing her song "Rocking Around a Christmas Tree" lately, and she's really
Yeah.
gotten up there and stuff. Um, is she someone you met as well?
Yes. I met Brenda Lee. A matter of fact, I got a picture of me in a Playboy bunny outfit for like a singing telegram kind of
Wow, that's
thing.
amazing.
It was just a joke, and I got dared to do it. And so,
Wow.
I mean, I was young. I was 17 years old. You're going to do stupid things when you're 17.
Hmm.
And so I do have a picture of me and Brenda Lee standing beside each other when I was that young.
Wow, what
And
an
I had the,
experience. Wow. Dottie West and
these,
Brenda Lee, and oh my goodness.
I
Wow.
got pictures of Willie Nelson, the Statler
Willie
brothers,
Nelson,
Thrasher
yeah.
brothers, the Oak Ridge
Yeah, Oak
boys.
Ridge Boys, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's just I mean,
Incredible.
now I will tell you this: a lot of my memorabilia got ruined that was in my parents' basement. Well, because they had a real big flood in back in '05, and we lost a lot of memorabilia there.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But it's always here, and that's where it really counts. So
Yeah,
and it's here too in my heart. So I know.
that's
But
amazing.
I will send you pictures of my home studio because it has
Hmm.
the albums with Dottie and Brenda Lee and Lee Greenwood's signatures
Well,
on the albums, and
yeah, I might
and
add them
Kenny.
to the podcast actually, show people. I actually had someone on my podcast who's a pianist, and they were able to have a picture of him and Robert Stack actually.
Oh,
So yeah, and there's a picture of him and Robert Stack on his episode. So I love that when people say, "Oh yeah, by the way," and but Beth, it was such a pleasure having you on the platform. Really
Thank you
enjoyed
so
speaking
much,
to you. This
Greg.
is awesome. Like, wow, so super. I
Well, we're
wish,
going to get Sting because I'm going to go in here and manifest that for you right now.
well, whoever, but I just love doing this. I love meeting people, and I got some really good relationships and was able to meet a whole bunch of just wonderful musicians, and I'm still in touch with them, and I consider them friends. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that is one thing I can honestly tell you about the music business, and that is once you meet somebody, you work with somebody, you get to know somebody, you actually become friends with somebody. They're there for each other regardless.
Yeah, I'm just so happy. God is just, I'm so humble knowing that God is good. Regardless, God is good. God is good all the
I
time.
appreciate honestly. I appreciate the fact that you don't have a problem talking about God because without God, wait, none of us going to accomplish anything.
I know. I don't. I'm
You
not.
know
I shouldn't be afraid, and I'm not afraid. And but
exactly.
yeah,
No, don't be afraid because those of us that are not afraid to talk about him and praise him and know that where our talents come from,
I know.
that, strike me if you don't like it, but this is who made me who I am. You know what I
Of
mean?
course,
Without him, we're nothing, nothing. So
I really
anyway,
believe that.
I do enjoyed it. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Great.
Okay, everyone.
And
Beth
anytime you want
Holly.
to talk medicine, you let me know.
I will. Beth Holly, live from the Jailhouse Rock. Jailhouse Rock. Okay, everyone. We're ending the stream. Bye, Beth.
Bye, dear. Have a good day.
You too.